now to be working with Noah, your son,
wow,
who is a brilliant musician in his own right, brilliant.
Thank you.
Tell me about how, tell me about that. Going from encouraging him, I don't think you probably pushed him.
No.
You just took to it like we did.
Right, exactly.
Like he was like, oh my God, I love this. I just want to play piano. This is all I want to do. I'm sure he probably plays other things too.
Yeah, and organ, piano and organ. Bass. Yeah. He played bass, and he picked up one on bass and played it in his school chorus. Same thing.
So how does it come to you guys starting to do stuff together? Because it really kind of started, in my mind, it started on Instagram.
Yeah, pretty much a little bit. Well, first of all, he didn't have to be pushed, and it's kind of cool when you're on the way to school and then, Get Lucky comes on.
Right.
And you're a 14-year-old and
Dad's playing on this.
It's kind of cool,
It's very cool.
And then also I realized how good his ears were when a song that I played when Michael Jackson would come on, and he said, Dad, that sounds a little bit faster. Like he could hear that, like, how Quincy and the producers speed up the tape just a little to give it a little more energy. And he could hear that it was not in the exact key. So I'm going.
So he's got perfect pitch.
Yeah, he has perfect pitch, incredible ears. And matter of fact, David came over one time and we were all doing a shooting match, play this D, F sharp.
Oh, I love it.
So, but which is, first of all, a gift in and of itself. But then there was always a piano growing up, and some of the songs that he was learning in his piano play, I said, man, that's a nice arrangement, And so we, I talked to my producer, Chris Giro, on the first record. Hey, let's do that. Let's put that on the record, So we did Yesterday,
Right.
And it was a great arrangement. And then the next record we did, I think, Over the Rainbow, another thing, just duo, bass, and like I started thinking, wouldn't it be cool? And so for all those years, just putting a couple songs together, and this year finally to release.
I got it right here.
You just happen to have.
A signed physical copy CD. How great is that?
Oh, father, son.
So did you guys, I've heard it's beautiful, but did you guys write something together too?
Yeah, he wrote. He's written a couple of songs on there himself, and then we arranged all the songs.
How Deep's Your Love?
Which is one of the greatest songs that I wish I had written.
Yeah, but Over the Rainbow's on here yesterday. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's such a great, but it's such a sweet, wonderful thing. I mean, I've worked with my sons, and I know what it's like to create something with your spawn. Where you're both like, wow, look what we made together. And it's a bond. It bonds you even in a totally different way. But to do a project like that, where you have an album you did with your son, it's just, I'm so excited for you.
First of all,
both.
After everything that we've discussed, the most important project of my life,
Yeah.
And, I just feel the blessing of this language that I speak, that now my son and I, we can now go around the world, sharing this thing that we used to do in our living room.
Yeah.
know? And there's nothing like it. I mean, after all these years, I feel like, wow, here's something I never did before. Toured with my son.
Yeah.
So we have a full-on Asian tour coming up in November, Tokyo and Jakarta and Seoul and China and Thailand, all of November. And then we're going back to a place in
just the two of you, or with a rhythm section?
Two of us with a rhythm section.
Okay.
Donald Barrett, our drummer, and Jack Lee from Seoul, Korea. He played on the album.
But you got the thing with this is you got the tour and you got the shows, and then you got the time off stage.
Right.
Like you just hanging with your son.
Which is
because I know you guys are it's like me with my boys. We're all best friends. I can see the closeness of the two of you.
Absolutely.
You still doing planks together? Plank contest?
And now he can do way more than I
sure.
can. Like he's at the gym every day.
Yeah.
And
but it looks like he is he's in his there's something about his face. There's something when I see, and I've known him since I don't know him. We haven't spent a lot of time together, but I've met him when he was a little boy.
Right.
There's something in his face when I see him play. And especially when I see him play with you, like he's found this is so joyful for him. And it's so beautiful to see.
You know, during
and you look like you're miserable. You're like, when is this going to be over with?
Well, it's funny because my heart goes pitter-patter even when we're in the living room.
Yeah.
4 a.m. and just the sound of the tones of acoustic instruments. Or during COVID, he said, Dad, if you got me one gift for the rest of my life, it would be a Hammond organ, you know. So I started doing the math. Okay, so no more cars.
Yeah.
And the math came out. He said, come on, Tim Carmen, can you find, we found an organ in a church in Altadena. They wheeled into the house. And during the pandemic, he was on YouTube looking at all the favorites, Billy Preston and all the best organists, and Jimmy Smith.
When was this? When did?
And this is like 2020.
Oh, no, you can't tell me this. I had a Hammond, the most beautiful Hammond B3 from the early 60s, sitting in storage for years. I couldn't sell it. Nobody wanted it. Finally, I called Dave Grohl because Dave had bought
Dave Grohl.
No, I mean, come on, you and I mean, it's so name droppy, but you can call Dave Grohl. Like we just know, we're all a family. Yeah. We're all a community. Dave had bought, I had the last Studer analog machine that they ever made, an A20.
Right.
That was at my studio in Chicago.
I remember that machine.
And I wasn't using it. And he heard about it. So he said to me, I met him at a party, and he said, do you have the last Studer A20 that they ever made? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, will you sell it to me? And I was like, yeah. So it's in his studio. So I called Dave a few years ago, and I said, do you need a B3? He's like, I don't think we do. But he goes, you know what? I'll give your number to Rami, our keyboard player. Rami was like, dude, I gotta have it. And I said, just take it.
Get out.
I would have given it to you. No offense, Rami, but I would have I would have loved to have kept it in the family, if you will.
Unbelievable.
But that's great that that's what he wanted. And
that's what he wanted. And as a matter of fact, the fires early in the year, we looked out and saw they were approaching, and we got the evacuation notice. And he said, all I want to take is the Hammond B3.
Can we put this in the back seat?
Exactly. Which bless him, I mean, he really bonded with that instrument, and
so do you think that he feels more connected to organ than piano?
I think it's his favorite instrument.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And he has an understanding and awareness of the patches and everything, and the stops, and he really, really gets it, like it is an expressive, it's an extension of it.
Have you ever had like any of the guys you might know, like Billy Payne or those guys who were like, or Paich, or come and sit with him and...
Absolutely. Yeah. Greg.
Yeah, Greg. Yeah, I never think of Greg as being a B3 player, but of course he can play anything.
Yeah, but Paich and he's really he just really taken to it, which is exciting. And as you know, when you're there with your kids, like what else is there?
Well, you lose track of time.
Exactly.
That's my goal for the rest of how many years I have left on this planet, is I want to do as many things as I can where I lose track of time. And for me, luckily, I lose track of time on stage.
Right.
I have to have a clock because I'll be there for 3 hours. They don't pull me off because I just love it. It's my favorite thing to do is get up and sing for people and make people happy. And they go, hey, I'm just going to take our minds off of everything for a couple hours.
Right.
What a gift to be able to do that and experience that with an audience. But I want that in my life too. And when I'm with my kids and when I'm just sitting over here having a cocktail with my wife. Wow. Like last night, Daisy and I sat there and just talked so much shit for 2.5 hours.
Wow.
We don't watch TV. We talk.
Right.
And we lose track of time. We'll look at each other and go, honey, it's 1 a.m. We've been talking for 3 hours. Like that's how I want to spend my time.
Fantastic. And that's to me one of the things I think that attracts people to you, because everybody has a story. Everybody has a story, right? And growing up, I was breastfed by my father.
I had to walk uphill to school both ways.
And my mother never breastfed me. She said she liked me as a friend. But in a world where that's more of the norm, I think when you sit down there with a guitar and tell a story that everybody can relate to in the world. And I don't care whether with Indonesia, Australia, and to me, that's your superpower.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a gift too.
It's such a gift.
Yeah.
I'm always humbled by it, but the older I get, the more grateful I am to do it every time. Like,
right.
And if I go weeks, which is rare for me to go more than a couple of weeks without doing a gig, I get antsy,
Right.
Like I'm thinking about Friday night in Palm Springs. I can't wait.
Right.
It's just another gig, but it's not. It's what I love to do more than anything in the world.
And when I watched you at the Albert Hall and they had you on the big screen, so there you were, like you could just see your freckles, right?
This pore right here.
And I could see as you were at the piano, and I could see, because, but I could see, like, if you could not smile. I could see the corners of and you can tell it was just coming from the heart, like the joy, and it was just. Here I am at the Royal Albert Hall in London, sold out show, doing exactly what I love doing.
With my pal. And the fact that that lined up on our calendars, where months before you said, I forget where, I think we were just talking and somehow it came up about you doing a run with Eric. And I got the one night that you guys took off in that week. Because it's really hard to get that room.
Exactly.
And mostly because Eric Clapton's there. But when we figured out you're going to be there and you're not going to go somewhere on the day off, and I said, would you want to? And you were like, yeah, I don't want to sit on one song. I want to play a couple songs. And the fact that we got to share that together, and I felt like the audience, and there's just something about the Royal Albert Hall and London in general for me that throughout my whole career.
Right.
I've had the greatest nights of my life in that room, in that city.
One of my favorite venues, period.
But you played it so many times. But there was something I felt that audience saw.
Wow.
I mean, I talked about our long-standing friendship, but it was when we were,
right.
When we were looking at each other,
we were
like, it was such a love fest. And I felt like the audience really picked up on our
I think so.
Love
a couple pictures came out, you
can't hide it.
And it was
you
just
and me
like,
just grinning like we just robbed a bank.
Exactly. And you can't not smile, with that feeling. And it's one of those things too, where, I still think about the folks. I mean, it's amazing how much I think about your mom and dad, because they were almost felt like my mom and dad.
They felt that way about you too.
Yeah. And I think about how proud and of course your mom got to see everything, good to the last drop.
I got ripped off with him a little bit.
Yeah, cut short. However, he, and
he got to work with me. He got to do TV shows with me. He saw where it was going.
Yeah, and I think about the evolution of, like, here's Dick Marks, and then here's Richard Marks, and then here's your sons. And it really. It's kind of rare when you see that kind of connection in family, in music, because music kind of pulls families apart a lot of the time.
Right. That's very, very true. Really, really interesting to see what happens with Noah and Sarah's kids when that happens.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm going literally tomorrow, I'm going over to Lucas's house to write a song for one of the contestants on my team on The Voice in Australia.
Wow.
I just decided I want to write some songs for some of these people. And so Lucas is frankly my favorite producer. He's my favorite. I think he's the best.
Wow.
I think he's literally the best pop songwriter producer I know right now.
Come on.
In terms of, like,
and you've worked with
I've worked with everybody. But Lucas, my son Lucas, and my other two boys are really talented, really good. And they're not sort of straight down the middle pop. Brandon is way more electronic music based, which is great. Jesse's a rocker. Jesse's the guitar-based hard rock guy.
What a surprise.
Yeah, really though. And Lucas just got really into producing. He does everything himself. He's one of those guys where it's like in a matter of a couple hours we have a record. He's that guy. He's that proficient at that. But his musical ideas are so good. He's such a great singer. So I mean, the fact that I'm going to go spend that time with him tomorrow, and I had coffee with Jesse yesterday, and I said, there's this girl on my team that's a really great rock singer, like Ann Wilson kind of thing.
Right.
Do you think we could write like a really great rock? He goes, let's do it. So I mean, I'm going to end up doing something with all three of them for different artists. But
wow,
to be able to do, like, to have my dad telling me what an asshole I was to have writer's block. No, for my dad to have been my hero musically, and to start my musical career, and then to now be working with my kids is, and I think that'll probably you'll experience that.
Same story. Yeah,
you'll be playing with your grandkids. You know,
unbelievable.